Yeah, just week one done, status update, and what's up for next week.
Today was the first day in pads, Rich. So the energy was flowing. We started it off with a fun drill. We circled the guys up and did some contact stuff and competed. We did inside run for the first time. Got the pads popping. But today was a good day. Ton of energy. We introduced a little bit of situational football. We did some third down today, which get the guys thinking a little bit, competing. We did a little bit winner loser and a physical day, a lot of juice, and I felt really good about it. So the first quarter is in the book, and I'm pleased right now. We got work to do, trust me, Rich, but guys are in a good place, and we just got to keep them healthy and keep getting better.
Yeah, that's interesting. Inside run, without David Bailey, who's your workhorse on the inside run right now? Is it Pat?
Well, when I say inside run, that's just like a run period, not meaning like we're just running the ball inside. It's just line up the O-line, the D-line, get the backs in, and let's do our run game. So all the backs were in there today and doing a nice job. Trav certainly. Trav looks like he's got a little bit more juice to him this year, probably because he knows the scheme a little bit more and knows the reads. And those guys look good. I'm excited to see those running backs push each other.
Does Trav have the potential to be a 3-down back with his ability to catch the ball?
Trav will be a 3-down back. No, absolutely. He's good in pass protection. He can run the ball on first and second down. And then on third down, he not only gives you a guy who can protect, but he can go catch the ball too, so it creates problems. But there's no doubt about it that Trav will be a 3-down. He'll be an every down back.
One more. It's just with the vacuum of leadership in the linebacker room, where does Graham Mobley fit in now? Is he someone that can come in and kind of fill that vacuum?
Well, I said this earlier, and truthfully, I even went to the linebacker room and said it, that those jobs are open. And I told you this, Rich. I don't care if it's a returning guy who's going to be a senior. I don't care if it's a transfer. I don't care if it's a rookie. Whoever plays and takes over those roles, whether it's the leadership role you mentioned, or just who can fill in the void and be our best guy, that guy's going to play. And certainly he's certainly a guy that I'm counting on being a leader. He's played football. He's played a lot of it. He's been a starter. And we'll see who winds up winning that competition, whether we find out this spring or it goes into training camp. They're all getting reps. Coach Duggan's doing a great job there. But you got some guys who are a little bit older that are stepping up, and it's pretty cool to see.
Okay. Go ahead, Danny.
Coach, you kind of touched on progression, and I know you said today was first day of pads. Is that by rule or is that by design to get them built up into pads?
I believe you have to have 3 days of just helmets.
Yeah.
I think after 2 practices, you can go full pads. We went our first 3 with just helmets to just really, teach and reacclimate, get them going a little bit. So we just decided today to put the pads on. So Saturday, get after a little bit. It's just how it fell into our schedule, Dan.
And then on top of that, where's your progression go kind of from here where just in terms of what you're drilling and things that you're looking for? Because I know we were talking about fundamentals last week. How do you kind of build upon that as you go through your second week?
Well, fundamentals will stay, right? So we'll always work fundamentals in practice, first and second down. Now there's going to be more situational football. Today was a 3rd and 2 to 6, so we'll build up to 3rd and 7+. Then you start working the high red zone. Then you work the low red zone. And then you get into some 2-minute situations and some other situational things that come up. So each day now we'll start to add. Our next practice will be more third down, adding 3rd and 7+. The following practice when we come back we'll start the high red, then the low red, and then we'll continue to play the game where the periods won't be as structured. It'll be more offense coordinator call it, defensive coordinator call it, move the ball and play real football. So I'm excited to get into that.
Tyler, before I hand it off to you, I just have one more in here, which was something Tim mentioned the other day about not just being around the ball, but actually training for playmakers and making plays and attacking the ball. I always felt like part of that was instinct. So how is it that you're able to train the guys and say okay, if you're in a certain position, secondary, for example, go after the ball and be able to make a play on the ball as opposed to just being around, batting it down?
Well, one, you drill it, and what good coaches do is their drills carry over to the actual game. So whether it's finishing, like you mentioned, the DB, whether it's teaching the DB how to glove a ball out, which arm to grab with, when to look back and turn and look for the football, you got to drill those things. And then you have to show it in practice. You shot your wrong arm. No, you shouldn't have looked back. You should have raked through the hands. Yes, you should have looked back in this situation. No, you should have played chest to chest in this situation. So you got to drill it. You have to drill the finish, because if you finish drills, you'll finish plays, right? And that's really important for the teaching. And that's why, as much as we can get on tape and show them, and then in practice, be fearless and try to go make a play on the ball. Don't be scared to turn your head and look. Don't be scared to reach for it and test yourself and push yourself to the limit. Because if you don't make it in practice, it's okay. But if you don't challenge yourself in practice to do it, how will you know in a game, right? So we just try to coach it the best we can.
Tyler, if you're ready, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. So one guy I've been wondering about is Cam Arnold. He did a lot of good things for you guys as a freshman. You played him all over the place. What kind of role do you foresee him taking on as a sophomore? And what do you think he has to do to take that next step this season?
Well, we moved Cam to linebacker. He's over 220 pounds, and he can run, and he can cover, and he sees the game really well. So we added him to that linebacker competition, and that's a compliment to him. Sometimes when you move a guy, it's not always a positive thing, but when you move a guy into a position to try to compete for a starting job, it's a compliment, and it's exactly what you just said. We like what we saw last year, and he's made of the right stuff. He's a really hard worker, and he showed up the first 4 days. So I'm glad you brought him up, because I'm excited to see what he can do for us these next few practices.
And we'll wrap things up with Dan.
Coach, I'm just curious, now that it's been a chance to sleep on yesterday with Pro Day, after your initial reaction, just, now that you've had a little bit of space between it, final thoughts on yesterday and final reflections now that you're able to get past it and maybe, see some things that you didn't see the first time.
Yeah, just really impressed with how hard the guys worked. You could tell it showed up. I mean, Hunter, for example, he looked incredible. I wish he was suited up for us today and still playing. But he was very impressive yesterday for looking as big as he did and how he ran routes, and the way he accelerated and ran. I'm not surprised at the 40 time at all. He probably helped himself a lot yesterday. Max, to me, looked like he leaned up a little bit, but still looked like he was carved out of a rock, as he usually does. He looked quicker, and you could see his short shuttle time was very impressive. And then when he did his drill work, his lateral quickness and acceleration was impressive. So I wish he kind of came back for that super senior year too. And then McDuffie looked big and fast and strong and explosive, just like I thought he would. And he ran in the high 4.5s, which is very impressive for a back. So again, guys, you'd love to have around, and just happy for them, because they're three awesome kids, and we'll continue to do everything we can to help them.
One quick follow-up is, from your perspective, is it relief, or is it a stressful day? Is it an exciting day? Like, I'm just always curious from your perspective, since I know Rich asked yesterday about the perspective from a position coach.
Dan, I never did a pro day. I really don't look like I did. So I don't know how it feels for them. They should all be very proud and be very excited, because they performed very well. I'm sure there's relief, because thinking back what Rich said yesterday, there's probably a lot of built up anxiety, got to run this 40 and got to bench this and that. So there's probably relief, but there should also be excitement, because I think they all crushed it, and I'm proud of all of them. But Dan, man, that's a compliment. If you think I had a pro day, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
See you guys. See you, Rich.